We got pregnant with our first child. Um, the nuchal screen at 12 weeks came back questionable. They thought she was high risk for Downs, which didn't make a lot of sense. I was 30. We did a CVS and turned out it was a false positive. Um, Pregnancy progressed. I got really sick. Starting at around 28 weeks, I was hospitalized at 30 weeks. I had open lines in my body to induce a coma, and they took her at 32 weeks. She was 3 pounds and spent 1 month in the NICU. So that was back in 2007. And it was really clear from a very early age that she had some issues. She was picked up for early intervention in the hospital, OT, PT. She was sent home. New York City picked her up. We saw her first neurologist when she was 2.5, who diagnosed her with cerebral palsy, apraxia, ataxia. The list was just endless. And I kind of fought him a little bit on it. I have a doctorate in special education. I had worked with special needs kids my entire life, or my entire professional life, and I didn't see what he was seeing. So he sent us off to genetics, and back in 2010, obviously, it was pretty limited in terms of the scope of what they were able to look for. It came back with nothing of consequence. And a year later, I kind of fought the same doctor over what I thought was seizures, promptly switched her care to Orrin Davinsky, who is an epileptologist out of NYU. And then fast forward, that's our first child, our daughter, Catherine. Our second child was born in the process of all of this. He was full term, he was fine, he was healthy. So we went on and had a third child, and sure enough, nuchal screen at 12 weeks was the same as his sister's. They thought it was just a fluke. CVS said it was nothing. I had a full term healthy pregnancy with him, but within 6 months, he wasn't meeting milestones. He had also had, unlike his sister, this extensive ENT history starting around 6 months. So he was in and out of emergency rooms for breathing issues, for croup, extreme croup. So he was followed really closely by an ENT, and we couldn't figure out if his delays were caused by his sicknesses or if he had something more organic in nature. So we finally brought him to Orrin's care. He watched him for a year, and at 2.5, he was diagnosed with epilepsy. And so we went back to genetics almost immediately. As in within like 3 weeks, we had the kids back at a geneticist's office out of Mount Sinai. And that's when everyone knew that we were dealing with something genetic in nature, and that was early 2014. And at that point, exome sequencing had become more popular. It was more widely used. We knew a lot more, so we did the entire family. We pulled all 5 of us, and it went off to Baylor. Baylor didn't find anything. Mount Sinai didn't believe it, so they brought all of the data back into in-house, and they handpicked through everything alone, and they couldn't find anything. We then got more involved in the medical community. I was on the board of Columbia Children's Pediatric Department, and I knew of Wendy. I had met her several times. She knew that we were coming. We were just waiting for the science to advance. We had worked with Dr. Goldstein out of Columbia to handpick through all of the data. He didn't find anything. And then fast forward to 2017, we finally got to Wendy's care. Catherine was 10. My son was 6 or turning 7. And by that point, Wendy sat us down and said, I really don't know that I'm going to find anything. I know all of these other players. I know who you've seen, and I don't know, but we know that something's there. And she called me that was April. She called me in June to let me know that she found it. So the kids are the first ever diagnosed with a deficiency of an amino acid. It's a 21st amino acid. They've never seen it before in In humans, they know that there are 22 amino acids. There are 20 regularly occurring amino acids. They have a deficiency of the 21st amino acid. So it's an autosomal recessive disorder. Both my husband and I have a super rare mutation. They think it's about 1 in 100,000. So the fact that they both got it is ridiculously rare. We have a patient population of 5. In the past 3 years, we've gotten 5 kids diagnosed. We are the only ones with 2 siblings. And since then, we've built a foundation. We have a huge scientific community that's leading the charge in our research. Oren and Wendy are like head of research, and they're incredible. To date, we have 8 different mouse models, a whole slew of zebrafish. We have iPSC Lymes on all 5 of our patients. The NIH is working in collaboration with us. We just had a huge medical meeting. We have a medical meeting like every 6 to 8 weeks. And the news that we just got CRISPR, we've been able to CRISPR and genetically modify both of my kids' neurons and stem cells. So we're waiting to try to do that in the mouse models and in the animal models. And we're really actively trying to explore short-term treatment options. We've looked down antisense therapies. It doesn't look like the science is there to get into the brain. And we're kind of trying to explore any and all potential small molecules or FDA-approved compounds that might serve as a short-term treatment option while we're waiting for more long-term solutions. Yeah, I mean, it's been not the road that anybody wants to be on, but certainly exciting. And when you take a step out of it and you can see where science is, it's super compelling in terms of where science is right now, and engaging in the science matters.
Yeah.